Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. And today we have a special guest, Nick Theriot. Thank you for taking your time out of the week to do this.
Yo, what's going on, man? Excited to be here. It's about to be fun.
Let's do it. Yes, sir. Before we get started, actually, I owe you a thank you because we talked, I don't know if you remember, we talked about a year ago, sometime last October. And I came on call and I was showing you my ad account and I was running a bunch of cost caps, a bunch of crazy stuff going on. And it was a complete mess. And honestly, I was almost like debating like quitting the store, honestly. But you gave me some advice about split testing, how to split test properly, and then switching over to a very simple ad account structure.
Mhm.
Um, and I don't think I ever updated you, but my store has never been better. Things are absolutely crushing. Like it's like such higher margins, more consistent. I know what I'm doing in and out of the ad account every single day. And dude, it's been absolutely great. So thank you so much for that.
It's impressive, man. Very good work on your side too. I know it's a lot of things you have to do on your side as well to be able to get to that point, but it's good to see people actually take the advice and actually apply it and see it through with it. So that's amazing. Congratulations on that.
Thank you. Yeah, one of the things you told me to do is like you need to give it some time. It's not going to happen overnight, but just stick
Mhm.
with it. And yeah, that's what I did. And dude, yeah, amazing. Thank you.
Good work, man. Very good work.
Okay, so I got some simple questions today. I know you've done some interviews before, so I mean, the very first question, who is Nick Terrio? Nick, can you tell us a little bit about yourself for the people that don't know about you or your channel?
For sure, for sure. Yeah, I'm the highest paid OnlyFans creator. No, I run a ecom marketing agency, which to be fair, we do work with a lot of lead gen clients too, but mostly ecom. I've done a little over $100 million in online revenue with Facebook ads over the last couple of years. I've been running Facebook ads about 10 years now. All in on the agency the last 4 years. And yeah, we specialize with the whole process of research, product positioning, creating the creative, scripting the creatives, actually, doing the final edits and stuff, and then actually add it to the ad account. So that whole process of improving creatives through research and understanding human psychology and direct response copywriting, like all of those things. That's where we like to nerd out around and side of our agency. And like Leighton said, it's we focus a lot on that kind of like single consolidated ad account structure to keep things very simple and focus only on what moves the needle, which is a creatives, AOV optimization, also landing page optimization, which we're doing now as well. So that's our specialty. A lot of people know me from YouTube as well, where basically teach people all these things that kind of just covered right there, but more specifically in like detail and stuff like that.
Very cool. Very cool. And I watched one interview that you did, and I think you said that you used to wash cars, and it was funny enough because I used to do the same exact thing. That's how I got started. I would use all that money to reinvest in the business and learn new skills and yeah, get into e-commerce. But very cool. Thank you for the intro.
You're welcome, man.
Cool. So I'll jump right into it. I got some questions and then a couple questions about Q4 specifically because it's
Mhm.
October. But yeah, you're known for your expertise in Facebook advertising. Can you share what you believe are the fundamental elements that every marketer needs to master to succeed on Facebook? Off the top of my head, I always tell people that copywriting is very important, but I
Mhm.
want to pick your brain on this.
Yeah, so copywriting is the most like there's two skill sets that you can learn in life that if you learn either one, you'll never go broke the rest of your life. And there's copywriting and then there's sales. If you learn one of these two, if you know both, that's amazing. But if you know one of these two, you will never go broke because if you know sales, you can go to literally anyone that has something for sale and generate money for them or copywriting, which is basically just salesmanship in pen. You can go to anyone and start running their ads and start crushing with it right there. And that's where we build a lot of our basis of foundation for everything we do inside of our agency where we're generating results for clients. And this is why also I'll laugh at people that are like creative strategists and stuff like that because it's like, it's just a glorified, they're just trying to invent a new name for themselves as a copywriter. It's like, no, you're just a copywriter at the end of the day. Specifically, a direct response marketer is what a lot of people like to call it. And these
Hmm.
are basically just people that have been around literally since it's like the early of like late 1800s when like the actual name was invented for like copywriting and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And all it is understanding human psychology and being able to put things in a way that's going to appeal to someone's mind, appeal to what they want right now, and then being able to introduce new products, new solutions of which they, can help them get to what they want. But being able to do that all in a concise way and an entertaining way, that's what makes a great copywriter, a great direct response marketer right there. And that's where we like to specialize all of our Facebook ads at. Because I think from like 2015 to all the way up to like 2020, 21, something around that time. It was just all about like ad account structure, cost caps, bid caps,
Mhm.
duplicating campaigns, all this crazy stuff. And
Yeah.
now it's like, we have accounts spending 20, 30, $50,000 a day in ad spend, and I have one campaign and that's
Yeah.
about it. And all we focus on is new ways to position products in the marketplace through copywriting, effective copywriting and stuff. And that's the highest, well, I would say leverage action outside of AOV optimization, landing page optimization, which, landing page optimization also still comes down to copywriting because there's a lot of things you can do from a copywriting perspective on that landing page itself. And then the highest leverage action you can take within copywriting is understanding your customer. A lot of people think that a great copywriter just sits down and writes great copy, and that's completely false. I've
Yeah.
talked to a lot of amazing copywriters, and the one thing they all had in common was that the level of which you understand your customer is the level of which you can write your ad copy. I can sit down and make hundreds of YouTube videos and ads selling, like my agency to clients and selling some of my info products to people, and it's easy for me because I talk to so many people on a day-to-day basis running Facebook ads. I know that market extremely well. Whereas, like, if I go introduce a new product today or like in a whole new market, I gotta go spend time doing that customer research and that market research and everything. And that's where highest leverage action you could take is copywriting. Because once you understand your customer better than they do, that's when you can start writing those really good angles that is like, wow, how'd you end up like coming up with that? And that's
Mhm.
all through that market research side right there. So those are the highest leverage actions you can take inside a Facebook ad account if you want to get the best results and kind of where you need to prioritize your day. And it's like, for me, it's like I always prioritize my day starting off with market research around a client that I want to get into that day.
Yeah. Love it. Everything that you just mentioned is what people don't talk about on YouTube. And
It's
that's
not
why,
sexy. It's not
yeah,
fun.
it's boring. It's boring. And um, like going back 3, 4 years, I think it was all about the media buying, like what buttons to
Mhm.
click, how to manipulate Facebook. And that's where I think a lot of people gravitate to your channel. I know I did, because you talk about things like that, which we're not going to dive into on this call. You could talk about for hours, but
Mhm.
your channel really goes over the principles, the fundamentals, the actual skills that move the needle. If you have bad ads, putting in an ABO or a cost cap isn't going to fix it. And that's not even talking about your landing page where your actual conversion rate is
Mhm.
much more important. Um, but yeah, that kind of leads into the next question. I'm very big on like investing into myself, like the same thing, like going to college, like paying for teachers or even like if you want to be a professional athlete, and paying for coaches. I think that's very important. But
Mhm.
where have you seen the greatest ROI into your skills as a marketer? Is it just trial and error? Is it books? Is it mentors? In other words, how do you learn and implement new skills?
I think it's all about number one, you need to kind of pick a skill you want to master first. So like, for me, like I've always been big into like reading and stuff like that. And I learned pretty early on in my entrepreneurship career, I need to invest in myself to make more money. But in the early days, I was too spread thin. I was reading every single book on business, every single book on like all of these different things, but I wasn't focused on any particular skill set.
Yeah.
So then for me, when I was like, okay, what is the skill set at hand that I'm trying to master? So like, when I started to get into copywriting, for example, I went and purchased probably 10 or 20 copywriting books and I focused purely on copywriting for a year to get better at it.
Yeah.
That's a lot more intention and it's going to give you a higher ROI or higher ROI faster because you're actually putting intention of growing that skill set really fast. But if you just do a little bit there for that skill, a little bit there for that skill, a little bit there for that skill, you just get great at a lot of things, but you're not good at anything, you know?
Yeah.
So it's like you really want to be intentional picking a skill and mastering it. And that's the skill that's going to make you the most money. That's what you need to focus on. So that's the first thing right there, being intentional with the skill set you choose. Next thing, I like to look at a lot of professional athletes. That's where I get a lot of my inspiration from when it comes down to leveling up and staying coached and things like that. And if you look at any professional athlete, like even like playing at the highest level, that's been around for years and like highest paid and all those key things, they still have a coach in their life. They're still reviewing their game footage. They're looking at their competitors' footage, and they're still practicing daily. I think a lot of people, what'll happen is as soon as they start making money, and I did the same thing too. As soon as I started making money, for me, it was 10K a month. Once I started hitting that 10K a month mark, I stopped investing in my stuff, I stopped hiring coaches, I stopped practicing daily because I thought I knew it all. And guess what? As soon as I hit that 10K a month, I quickly fell back down to 4 or 5 or four, like 3 or 4K a month because I stopped doing the things that created the reality I was living in. So
Yeah.
once I surpassed 100K a month for me now, it's like I'm just like I want to invest more and more. How do I get to $1 million a month? And that's personal income. How do I get to $1 million a month personal income? And it's like, how do I go invest more and more from the right people to be able to be to get there faster? Because that's also another thing. It's someone recently, one of my recent mentors told me this, where it's like you already have all the things you dream about. You're just taking your current self right now and aligning it with that future self to be able to have those things in your life. And that's the big thing with growth right there, and those day-to-day actions of aligning yourself to get there. And that's kind of how also I look at it with a skill set, right? If the highest paid athletes, we can all do those same things. We just need to align ourselves with the correct actions that those people take on a day-to-day basis to get there. If
Yeah.
you look at the best marketers, best copywriters, you look at like Dan Kennedy, for example, Eugene Swartz, some really talented copywriters that's we've been blessed to witness over the years. All we have to do is align ourselves with the same actions, the same way they think, and we're going to be writing the same way as them. And that's a big part of that process right there of growing and leveling up. And that's kind of where you want to focus at. And then from there, it's do everything you can with books. Mentors just help you speed up that process because I can go sit down and read a book, and that might take me a couple weeks or a couple days, depending on how fast or slow of a reader I am. Whereas a mentor will tell me exactly what I need to know from that book in 30 minutes. So a mentor will always cost you significantly more money. And I think me personally, I spend about 10 grand a month just on mentors. Whereas like in the early days, I couldn't afford more than 200 bucks a month for mentors. So I could only had books, for example. So
Yeah.
a mentor will just help you speed up that substantially in terms of having to read all those books right there.
Yeah. I completely agree. I was stuck a couple months ago on a problem with my cash flow for drop shipping, and for whatever reason, I just didn't do anything to fix it. And I was like, you know what? I'm done with this. I'm gonna hop on a call with someone who is levels above me, who does accounting for a big D2C brand, and he completely solved my problem in literally 30-minute phone
Mm.
call. And it was like I should have paid him years ago. Um, and I also love the analogy that you brought up with sports. Andy Frisella, someone who I listen to a lot,
Mhm.
talks about how there's only one thing more competitive than sports, and that's business.
Yeah.
Um, and dude, it is cutthroat. You're either good enough or you're not. And he compares business to sports all the time. You're either good enough to make the team or you're not, and you need coaches to train you and teach you.
Mhm.
And yeah, you hit the nail on the hammer there. But I love the sports analogy, especially
And that's
watching
like the
sports
biggest
myself.
mistake like people do too as well, is that as soon as they start to like, they make the team and everything like that and they
Hmm.
stop learning, they
Yeah.
immediately start to cut everything. It's like, oh, hey, I'm not learning from this mentor anymore. I need to push away. And it's like, no, not really. It's just in the beginning you learn so much because it's all such new things for you. So you get accustomed to learning and feeling like you're learning all these things. Where when you're
Hmm.
years in the game, I still put myself in the same rooms, but I don't go there to like take away 50 things. I go there literally just to take away one thing. Some of my
Hmm.
mentors I speak to once a month, and I used to learn hundreds of things from them. Now I'm looking at just one little thing I'll take away from them that'll go make me a couple hundred extra $1,000 a year.
Yeah. Yeah. and like reading books, like you might pull away like one golden nugget from the book.
Mhm.
And that might take you a couple weeks to read. I know I'm a slow reader, especially with business books. I need to read it slow and highlight and go through
Mhm.
everything. Um, but yeah, great answer, Nick. I want to go into the Q4 questions before I want to save some time for the game that we're going to play at the end. So I
Cool.
got three questions for Q4 specifically. Um, Number one, what are the most common mistakes you see brands make during Q4? If you see one.
It's a good question. Biggest one for me is they're not hitting on gifting angles. Gifting
Mm.
angles is literally free money in Q4.
Love it.
Like it's the easiest ads to run, and
Okay.
I know like even us personally, like we've missed out a few years of not running these. And every time we do a review of Q4 and we look at the brands that made the most money in our roster of clients and in the brands that made the least amount of money, the only difference was the ones that made the most money ran gifting angles, and the one
Wow.
that didn't make a lot of money didn't focus on gifting at all. And like
Interesting.
gifting, you don't need to run any special offers with that of like, oh, 20% off, 30% off. It's just literally just like go film some ads of like, hey, buy this for your husband, go buy this for your daughter, go buy this for your grandma, things
Yeah.
like that. And you're just filming new creatives with those people that you're looking at with and how much they love that product and stuff like that. Paint Your Life is a really good example right there. They do a lot of gifting angles. Specifically for Q4, that's where they probably make like 70% of their money for the year. And they do a lot of reaction videos to
Mm.
people, like opening up the product and everything like that. And those
Yeah.
crush in
Wow.
Q4. Like I said, literally free money right there. If you
Yeah.
go and just take the time and effort, like, for us, we like to launch those November 1st. So all of October, we're just prepping that content right there for November 1st to launch.
Wow, you got my gear spinning. I think I need to go film some content of like a Christmas box and pulling the product out or something.
Yep.
Like, gotta get on that. That's awesome. Okay, and then number two, how aggressive will your campaign budgets get during Black Friday, Cyber Monday, or is there no ceiling?
Yeah, so from November 1st all the way up until the Thursday before Black Friday, which I think is the 28th this year. I think Black Friday is the 29th this year or something like that. I'm just doing 20% a day increases and stuff like that.
Yep.
But for Black Friday day, the day of Black Friday, not the Black Friday launch day of our account, because those are two different things. Some clients,
Mm.
they want to launch early, and I try to get them a launch as close as possible to Black Friday, but they still refuse to listen to me sometimes. So it's like, all right, only on Black Friday, the actual public day,
Hmm.
that we'll literally go and take an account and do it anywhere between a 2x to 10x increase in ad spend
Wow.
at midnight.
Hmm.
So that way, 12 a.m. Black Friday day will 2x to 10x the daily budget of wherever we're spending right now. If we're spending $1,000 a day, we'll do anywhere between 2,000 to 10,000 a day. It just kind of depends on the prior history of Black Friday.
Hmm.
If it's in a brand new account and we don't really know what type of success it had because it never had a Black Friday before, we'll just do like a 2x increase. But if we know like year over year, every Black Friday crushes it, we'll just keep going closer to that 5x, 10x increase in ad spend. And then we'll just we'll see what happens that day. And for us, it's always easier with Facebook to pull back than try to scale on Black Friday. So I'd rather
Mm.
start at a big budget. And if I'm not hitting
Interesting.
KPIs, start pulling budget back throughout the day versus try to like start off at a low budget and try to scale up through the day. It just it's more difficult for Facebook to spin throughout the day. Um,
Interesting. Got it.
Black Friday day always does the highest amount of revenue, and then it just falls with Cyber Monday being the lowest day. There's some people that have this like false belief that, oh, hey, Black Friday, we do a couple hundred K in a day. Then the next day we'll do even more. Then the next day we'll even do more. Then the next day we
Yeah.
do even more. No, not at all. Black Friday day is always the highest day in revenue. The second day is Saturday. It's always the second highest day. Sunday,
Hmm.
the third highest day. And then Monday is always the lowest day. And, for Cyber Monday, we run the same offer all weekend. We just call it BFCM. A lot of people think like Cyber Monday, you need a whole new offer or anything like that. No, it's false. Years and years ago, you would actually have to like go to stores on Black Friday day.
Yeah.
So like, you wouldn't really technically run anything for like Black Friday day. You would just run Cyber Monday. But now everything's just meshed together to the point where everything's just online now, Black Friday
Yeah.
day, and then you start off with a ridiculously high budget on that day. And that's usually our go-to that day.
Got it. Cool. Awesome. Thanks for the insight. Now we got a little bit of time left, so let's jump into this game. I'm going to share my screen and pull up a hot or not game.
Sounds good.
All right. Can you see my screen?
Yeah.
Okay. Hot or not?
Oh, that's definitely hot. That's very hot.
Breakthrough advertising. Nick, why is this book so good?
This right here, this book probably took me about 3 or 4 times to read it before I even understood it.
Hmm.
But after I read it about 10 or 12 times more, that's when like that completely changed the trajectory of my career. Because it teaches you literally everything you need to know from a high level perspective on how to make more money with paid advertising.
Wow. And how old is it? I think Eugene Schwartz wrote it like 19 something,
Yeah, like 1960, I think it was written or something like that.
which is crazy. I mean, it's still, I mean, not crazy. It's just people don't think that it still holds today, but it's the quite opposite.
One of the greatest books on human psychology when it comes down to advertising. And it literally is everything I deal of which you need to know.
Yeah. And they don't, it's hard to get too. You can't get them
Yeah.
up. You gotta get them on eBay now.
Oh, breakthroughabvertisingbook.com. That's where I got all of mine. It's about
Really?
115, $120 a
Hmm.
book. Breakthroughabvertisingbook.com. Yep.
Nice. I'll put that in the link down below. Okay, moving on. You're gonna like this one. Cost
Definitely
caps.
not. Hard
Okay.
no for that
What
one.
what's your response to someone that just wants to do cost caps? Like you don't need to go into too much detail, but I know you can talk about this all day, but like what's the main reason?
I think they have grass is greener on the other side type mentality, and they just see another buzzword that everyone's talking about, so they want to do it because like everyone else is. But no, I'm not a fan of it at all. I think it restricts the learning of the ad account significantly.
Yeah. Yeah, don't go on Twitter. Okay. All right, interest targeting, hot or not?
Not very far, no, for that one as well.
What why is this still a thing? I feel like that they don't even make new interest anymore. Like is it gonna be gone in 2025? Do we know?
Bro, I think every year we get closer and closer to where we're going to be doing like pretty much like Google Performance Max thing, where it's like you
Mhm.
just upload your creatives and set a budget and Facebook does the rest.
Yeah.
But yeah, they don't really add any new interest anymore. I can't tell you the last time Facebook added new interest. I think they're actually removing more and
Yeah.
more interest. And now I think a lot of accounts now, like you can't even like when you select an interest, it automatically does like the expansion automatically, where you can't even deselect it anymore. So it's no point of using interest targeting. It's a waste of money nowadays.
Yeah. I still get this question all the time. People are asking, should I use interest targeting? It's like for a couple of years now, it's been broad's the way. Okay. Okay, this one I'm curious. TikTok ads in 2025. I don't want to give up on them. I'm still not running TikTok ads, but I feel like at some point in time they might get better. I don't know.
I don't know, man. I'm in between with that one. Purely from a data-driven perspective, it's a no for me. From a
Yeah.
data-driven perspective.
I agree. I agree.
We've worked with a lot of clients that are on TikTok ads, and we've never ran TikTok ads because just it's not our specialties.
Mhm.
They still operate under the same human psychology as what's taught in breakthrough advertising, but from an actual like media buying perspective, I've never seen, and we've worked with multiple TikTok agencies, we've never seen an agency be able to do at least 10% of what we're spending on Facebook.
Yeah.
So I think for a lot of people, it's a distraction. I think if
Mhm.
you're going to run TikTok, it's the game of influencers on TikTok.
Mm.
That's what you need to hit on. That's hot, very hot right there.
Yeah. Got it. Cool. I think we got one more. Maybe two more. All right, drop shipping. I went to an event and this came on the screen and someone was like, "It's dead, never do it." And I'm sitting there like, "Come on."
I
But
think dropshipping is very hot. I think it's a phenomenal opportunity for people who's never ran Facebook ads before, who's never done any e-commerce. I
mhm.
think dropshipping is a phenomenal opportunity for them to get their hands wet,
Yeah.
for them to experiment with different products and stuff like that. I think why it's not hot is because people don't understand what I teach a lot with these marketing fundamentals, how to create creatives that convert and stuff. Because the old days, you used to be able to just pull the picture from AliExpress and test
Yeah.
it on Facebook. And that was
Yeah.
because there was no competition. But because no one's teaching anyone of how to crush it in a competitive market, people are just getting slaughtered all day. So that's why it's important to understand the fundamentals I teach, or like what's taught in breakthrough advertising, because you can constantly stay one step ahead of your competition.
Yeah.
And then the last thing is people try to they think they're going to scale to a million, 2 million, $3 million a month with drop shipping, and that's false. The goal is to scale to about 10K a month with drop shipping, and then
Hmm.
from there bring it in house, and then move it to a 3PL,
Yep.
and then that way you handle all the fulfillment from there and do a custom like private label and all that good stuff.
Yeah. Then other competitors can't really compete with you because you're taking it away from them.
Absolutely.
Sorry, my dog's barking, but last one. We're gonna skip retail sales. Surf scaling, Nick. What are your thoughts on
Surf
surf scaling?
scaling, that one's good for one time of the year, and that's Black Friday only. So the other 364 days a year, yeah, we don't do surf scaling. I'm a big fan of 20% a day increases. If you literally go and like do like $100 a day and you increase it by 20% a day for 30 days, it comes
Mhm.
out to like 16,000 or $20,000 a day in ad spend.
Yeah.
And people are like, well, that's still not fast enough. But then, like, everyone that tells me that's not fast enough are the same people that quit drop shipping within a week because they can't scale a product because they keep doubling the budget every day and just blowing through their ad spend.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree. Slow is fast, fast is slow. Something you always say.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right. That's it, dude. Thank you so much for taking your time on the day. And I'm gonna put all your links down below. And then I believe you just dropped an ebook as well. So I'm gonna plug that down below if you're still selling it.
Yeah, yeah. The book is still going on. It's called ads.scalebook.com. And it's
Okay.
basically teaches people the art of creating Facebook ads that scale. Long story short, I took breakthrough advertising, as complex of a read it is, and I basically made like a dummies version that's easy for just anyone to pick up and start crushing it with Facebook ads. And I basically just took that and put all that in an ebook, about 100 pages, and it's phenomenal. I've had over 600 people now download it, and everyone is like, holy shit, this is the best thing I've ever read for, $29. It's
Yeah.
very financially irresponsible for not reading it.
Awesome, Nick. Well, thank you so much.
Appreciate it, man. Thank you for having me on.
All right, man. Take care. See ya.